special.
The year-end special, 2018.
What? Are we live?
Okay, we're live.
2018, man. It's the final days, the final dog days of the year. Yeah. Dog days, is that the right term for winter?
I don't think it's dog days.
I think it's the
death of the year.
The death. Yeah. Remember that little cartoon you did? You were the New Year baby, the old man passed out with the ribbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I'm getting there now.
If you have that picture available, I think I'd like to use that as the caption for this episode.
I'll have to see if I can find it.
I might have it somewhere too. I'll take a peek. 2018 was a really good year for us, I think.
It was a good year for the podcast, for Meet the Geeks, for
Todd.
Todd
had a great year.
Todd had a great year, yeah.
Yep. What did one of the first things on this list? Well, it's not on the season 4 episode 23, which was the first episode,
right,
of 2018.
Right.
Seanorama gets FastFretFingers on the show to talk about Todd's big announcement. That was announced. It didn't happen in 2018, but we made the announcement on the show in 2018.
Right.
Remember what that announcement was?
My new bass.
Well, you did get a new bass.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, big announcement. Oh, my granddaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was 2018.
Yeah. Well,
so I think Todd trumps everything.
Well, actually, it was 2017.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah, in the end.
And then 2018.
Yeah.
Yes.
We announced it on the show in the first episode of the year.
Actually, her birthday is coming up.
Yeah.
And
celebrating this weekend.
Yeah.
Her 1 year birthday.
Todd became a granddad.
Todd still looks fucking good.
Looks better than he looks younger than me.
Well, I put on a few pounds, which actually I could actually, do with because I was, as big as your finger. Look kind of gaunt there.
Todd's 6'4".
Yeah.
And he's 6'3".
Yeah.
And he weighed less than I did.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember those days.
Yeah. It just seems to be, I've known a few people, they're just tall, lanky, and just could never gain any weight.
Until they get older.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it creeps in.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's do a round table. Corey, can you tell me about 2018? Like, what stood out for you? It doesn't have to be podcasts. It can be anything.
Well, I mean, there was definitely, relaunching the strip, First time since 2007
yeah,
that I actually drew new strips for this comic and, actually got them up. Put up the old strips over the course of 2017.
relaunching them one a week.
Yeah.
Or one a week? Was it one a week?
It was 1 week. But then, kind of died off. And then I actually started getting into, drawing new strips. So it's been good getting back into that. Back into doing the art and, just kind of thinking about, what Meet the Geeks is going to be coming up.
What it's transforming into. It's not the same strip from 2007.
No. We've now introduced Thomas into the strip. In 2018, Todd's getting introduced.
Cool.
2019.
2019, yes. Yeah. So
That's awesome. I can't wait to see those.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited too.
He's going to have the coolest intro ever,
Sweet.
Standing on top of a delivery truck playing the guitar.
That's
Looking badass.
Here I am.
Yeah. So yeah, that's for me that was a pretty big one, but 2018's just been, I think overall just been a great year, for really getting back into, I guess, the more artistic side and starting to try to do things that I've wanted to do rather than just working and
And your wife's a great supporter of your talent, which that's why not the only reason I like her. She's pretty awesome, but she appreciates the things that you like and work on, and she's 100% supportive.
Yes.
And I think that's probably the big key, right?
Yeah. It really is.
Well, what's happiness? Happiness is doing things you like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's encouraging things you like to do.
Yeah.
You can't ask for any more than that.
Yeah.
and I'm in the same situation. I mean, I'm encouraged to do the things I like to do. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, your 2018 has been good. You and I have been rocking the podcast. Like you're now like Todd's a regular co-host now. Like originally I was kind of rotating with you and Todd and Tracy.
Well,
and
I mean, initially, at the beginning of the year, we had talked about, you and me doing the podcast on a regular basis, but then, Todd became the regular co-host, which I think actually probably...
Well, you lost your phone. I think that's where the big fall-off happened.
Lost my phone, and, just not paying cell phone bills, so I have a phone, but I don't have, any way to talk on it.
Well, that's where was it Messenger, Facebook Messenger?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of apps you can. You don't even need it.
You can get away without having a phone line for sure.
Yeah. Especially long distance.
Could even Skype it, really.
Yeah.
It's just most of the time you're driving, so it won't be Skyping with you while you're driving.
With that, yeah. But I wasn't trying to push you out of the podcast at all.
No, it's just.
But I think
it's how it worked out.
Yeah, I think in a way Todd is like an anchor on the show.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just
anchor.
It's Todd.
Yeah, it's like you said when you posted in your video. Yeah. You had that nice little video where you're talking about you're going to introduce Todd to the show. Yeah. And you said Todd's just Todd. I was just
blown away.
Just awesome. It's just Todd is a cool guy, guys.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He's generous. And, he's turning red right now, which is actually
like an eggplant.
Really amusing. Yeah.
A giant penis.
Great.
Todd the Hammer.
The hammer down.
But we had what else? Like what else we did? We had a great Keycon this year.
We had a great Keycon.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun at Keycon this year.
Yeah.
And then there's one coming up, so we'll be doing.
I don't know. Someone didn't mute their phone. I don't know who it is.
Some irresponsible.
Oh. It's my phone saying, "Hey, you haven't worked out in a while. We've missed you. It's been 64 days."
Oh my God. Now the app's going to make you feel bad.
Yep.
Fuck you, I had a good year.
For myself, I mean, Alexa was the number one thing of the year. I started off the year with a bang. When did we finish with Dome?
February.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were still into it, and then we finished our show. I
released the album.
Yeah, I bought a brand new bass for in last year at there was a sale. It was a New Year's sale.
The
brand new Ibanez bass. Beautiful, nice blue unit. Bought the case, had everything. Played our show, and they were done.
Yeah.
So I played for one.
We had that great show in December at the Club St. B, and then we were like gearing up for the next show. We were trying to book like CD release party and finishing the album.
Right.
Like we did so much. Well, I didn't do nothing, but you did all the tweaking and getting the sound just right. And came in and re-recorded vocals a bunch of times because it wasn't exactly right.
Well, for someone that hasn't been, I could have spent more time with the recordings, but I mean, there's a point where it's like, okay, we just want to get it out, and do it. So
I think there was a reason for that. Let's get it out and get it done, so I can quit the band.
Apparently, yeah.
So that we did that, and then say March, and then we went and saw Trooper at the.
Club Regent.
Club Regent, and then we did a bit of a podcast there when we were there.
That was the first time we tried a podcast in that way.
Right.
So that was kind of a, not innovation, but a change of format, because we actually recorded, didn't we start recording the podcast as we're both driving there? Did we do that for that one?
Yes, because that was when I was talking about I found out where all the handicap parking was.
Yes, that's right.
Because there was like 25
lots of handicap
rows
parking at the casino.
Yeah, I know.
At least 25 rows.
Yeah.
So
but that was kind of fun because we did that and then we hooked up and then we did some podcasting there.
Right.
And then we podcasted post show.
Right.
As we waited around an hour for the draw.
Yeah, the draw that we didn't win.
And that's when Drake became our nemesis.
Who?
Drake.
Oh, Drake.
Drake
yes.
became my nemesis, and MTS became yours?
No, we were just... yeah, because we were just talking about ratings and stuff, because, I mean, we were on...
well, we had our stuff on Spotify, and
stuff.
we were talking about Spotify.
And as soon as you plugged it in, the first thing that came up was Drake. Whether you liked it or not, it came up. So obviously, as soon as it came up, it was flagged as, you know, it's like clickbait, right?
Yeah.
So it's right in front of you. So if you accidentally click it, hey, guess what? I got a vote.
Oh, great!
Wow.
I got the new Drake song playing on my phone.
Yeah.
Yay!
Because I'm such a fan of Drake.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Is anybody actually a fan of Drake?
Can we play some Beyonce now?
Was it you that had the famous line, Drake is the something of rap music? Is the Justin Bieber of rap?
No, that wasn't me. I was the one that said that Gene Simmons is Donald Trump of rock music.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What else did we do this year? What you had?
Well, one of the things that I think we should definitely plug is we got involved with the guys from Comics for Cause.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Joel and Scott.
Small World.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Todd's daughter, Danica,
Yeah.
is in a walking group where they walk their babies, and
With his wife.
with is it Joel's wife
I think it's Joel. Yeah.
or Jeff's wife? I think it's Joel.
Yeah, I think it's Joel.
Joel and Jeff, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so they became friends. So now I'm friends with his wife on Facebook just because.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So then we went to the comedy club because they were that was part of the support for the Comics for Kids. They were raising money.
Yeah.
So we went to
for
that.
Cause.
Yeah.
Went out and played board games with them down
Yeah.
at...
Yeah. Well, that's
Across
when
the board.
that's when we
met them,
first
yeah.
met them. Yeah.
Those are great guys.
Yeah, they also have their comic news site, which contributed my first article to.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. You had your first published article this year.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And had actually planned to do several more, and just never quite got around to it.
Don't make it come out. Don't push the poop out.
Yep.
You'll get hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
And then we went to the
Podcast festival, Manitoba Podcast Festival.
Yes.
So we got to meet Sam from Witchpolice, which Dome was supposed to be on the show, but we had to cancel because Dome broke up.
Right.
But I kept in touch with Sam from Witchpolice. He actually won Best Podcast in the City.
Oh, okay.
Again for the millionth time.
We went to.
Oh, we're coming for you. We're coming.
We're coming for you, Sam. Actually, I would. Sam, I don't know if Sam, if you listen to this, probably not. But if you do, I know Sam interviews so many bands in the city. I want to interview Sam on our show. I want him to be a guest for once because he does a lot of good things in the city. He runs a great podcast. I know he's a great fucking dad.
Yeah.
Because he puts his kids first, or he puts his family first, I should say. Good guy. So well deserved. So I got to actually meet him in person finally. We had the reunion of Meet the Geeks.
Yes.
Reunion of Meet the Geeks, and
Keycon,
also the
yeah.
reunion of Where We Met, with reunion of The Evil Within,
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
which was really interesting experience. A lot of people showed up that, initially when I started planning this thing, I was just expecting con people to show up.
You deserve all the credit for this because
Yeah.
I don't think it would have gotten in motion if you hadn't started the whole thing going.
It just blew out of proportion really quickly. Like, we got people back that we haven't seen in like 17 years.
Yep.
Right? So that was
2004, right?
somewhere. Well,
Right?
I got involved in 2002, right after I got back from Toronto. When I took
Well,
the
yeah,
big
because you
course.
just graduated, right?
Yeah. That's when I first met Clay. And yeah, then we
Now
kind
you
of.
were on the movie before me, correct?
I
I don't
think
think
so.
did we ever establish that timeline?
We've never established that. No.
Because
No,
met
we met at the Art Space building when we did that
Graffiti
the first
gallery?
evening. No, not the graffiti gallery, the Art Space.
the airspace on not
Bannatyne.
Alder, but Bannatyne, yeah.
yeah.
That's right. Was that at the reading or was that? I'm trying to remember.
It
now.
was a reading, but I think we also filmed a couple of scenes there.
Yeah, that was also with the old cast.
Yeah.
Tree? No. Was that guy's name Tree? The guy who was playing, who played Ghislaine Nasser, the original Tree.
You know what?
And then
Vin
Diesel was there. The Vin Diesel lookalike guy played Darth Animus. Were you there for that?
I remember them, but
Did I slightly precede you then?
I think you came in before I did.
Okay.
And I was there pretty much right at that transition.
Okay. I was there just before the transition, probably weeks before, maybe a few weeks before, because actually, I think we did a bit of a table read at the art space with the old cast and crew, the original 4 leads.
I might have been there for that, and then I think that's when things kind of started falling apart.
Yeah. And then I auditioned. For Paxton Tremaine. When Clay wasn't there. I auditioned in front of Edgar and Lillian. And they're like, what part we're going to get him to read? Let's get him to read Paxton's part. which was Clay's part. And I read for Pax's part, and I do a really good read, but I'm a horrible actor. If I've got words in front of me, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
But I read with Dan, and Dan read as Ghislaine, I think.
Okay.
I think. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, that was another big... Matt had footage of the movie because Clay lost the footage. You can check it out on the podcast episodes where we talk about all this stuff.
Yeah.
But Matt found the footage because he stole it back in the day, and we showed the footage we had for the first time. Most people hadn't seen it. It's now available on YouTube.
Yep.
That was a big thing.
I think we showed... The footage he has was a little bit more than was shown at the premiere of the film.
Yes, it was actually. Yeah. So that was cool. I have stuff. We still need to do I think we should do a screening of it, the 3 of us. Just a proper screening and do like a Mystery Science Theater or something. Because there's additional footage that wasn't shown there because we could only show the YouTube stuff. Yeah. Because we didn't have an MP4 player. Right. But I think it'd be fun because some of those scenes don't have audio, and we could actually do the audio. Like, make up the audio. Yeah. I think Todd would be a good Paxton Tremaine.
I get to do...
or Alex Trebek, whichever you prefer.
I get to do Captain Anders.
Yes! Yeah. Be awesome. Yeah, I mean, that was cool. The podcast did really well this year. The numbers on the podcast shot through the roof. Thanks to the UK and Sweden. Yes. Or actually Sweden and UK, we should say.
Thank you, Sweden. We love you.
And interesting enough, in December, my numbers in December, I don't know where they're at right now, but at the beginning of December, or the first half of December, I had more downloads from the US than any other country in December.
Interesting.
I'm not sure why. So the Americans found out that they've been slumping in the polls on the SeanGeek Podcast. And they're trying to reclaim their spot. Anyway, so that was good. For me, we had a bit of a health scare with Abby, which we seem to be past that. So big weight lifted off. I changed jobs in January to a much... I'm not going to name the workplace because I don't like doing that here. But I am a much happier guy to the point that... I actually did a Nanowrimo in November. Yeah. And I did 50,000 words, but what I did an edit off an old book, which has been renamed Sweden, for obvious reasons. And then I'm still editing that, and I am paying, so I don't know how I'm paying for it, but somebody said, you're doing this, paying an editor to do an edit in January.
Well, you can always talk to our author friend Lauren Alder, who we also did an interview with. Mm-hmm. She also happens to do editing as well.
I forgot about that. Now, the book's already gone through one edit, and I'm writing based on the original edit.
Actually,
but I never even thought of that.
My article for Comic Basics actually had her do the edit on that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. I do want to do something more with those guys, though. Having them on the show is not enough. I think we need to have like a formatted, a specific format. I don't want to have them on the show to just interview them and talk about what they do. I do want to talk about what they do. Yeah. But I want everybody to meet them. I don't want to meet the salespeople that they are selling the stuff they do. That is important, and we'll include all the links. But I want you guys to meet them because those two guys are great.
Yeah. One of the things that, as I said, if want to actually launch Meet the Geeks' own website in the coming year. Initially, I was aiming for February. May actually wind up being a little bit later, just depending on how finances work out. But I was going to be talking to Jeff and Joel and see whether or not they would be okay with us putting a link up on the Meet the Geeks page, very prominently to the Comics for Cause.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a really interesting idea for a charity.
Yeah.
So I think it's.
Well, I think I would, to be honest, we're gonna look for advertisers for your site as I'm looking for mine. But I think for what they do, I don't want them to pay us to have a link on either one of our sites. I just want to have the link there.
Well,
they get carte
to
blanche
support them.
To support them. I don't want them to pay for their
support
spot.
link, yes.
Yeah, but I want to charge people to advertise on our sites because we have to, pay
For
bills
it somehow.
But I think for something like that, I think that they get the free advertising spot. I think I'd like to do that on both our websites.
Oh, they're a charity, so of course we're gonna.
Yeah, but it's a good charity.
Yeah.
Not that other charities are bad, but I'm just saying this hits home for me. I really like.
I like the fact that it's also local initiative.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's something that fits in with our demographic.
Yep.
As comic fans. So it's. And I would love to have the guys, definitely come in and, explain how it all came about, because I think it's a really interesting story too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very touching, and it was nice to see the competition between the two brothers playing those board games.
Yeah.
I want you to meet those two guys. Yeah, they do great stuff, and they're But I also want you guys to. I don't know. I want people to meet them too.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important. Because if you can get to know them, you might be more prone to help out their campaign.
Show the human side of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. So Jeff and Joel, if you're listening, please come on the show.
Love to have you.
Yes.
Any other highlights before we go through some numbers and stuff? I think a lot of the big important points we actually cover in the podcast as stuff is happening. Just we do an episode about it. Pretty much.
Pretty much. Anything that pops up, we usually, we'll usually discuss it.
Now we're also looking for guests for the show, but we're trying to do. I still want to do the once a month where we'll get together in Todd's studio and bring a guest in. You saw the list. We were using Wunderlist.
Yeah.
It's actually a good app. But we have a lot of stuff lined up on there because I want to have my brother-in-law Apollo on the show, and I don't know if he was getting a little put off. I was like, well, how come I'm not on the show yet? But then I showed him the Wunderlist. He goes, oh.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of stuff still planned to do and guests that we've already spoken to. I don't want to give any of the names away just yet, but if you're interested in the show, if you're interested in being on the show, advertising on the show, you want us to give you a quick shout out to whatever you guys are working on, please contact me.
Yeah, I've got at least two people that I'd really love to interview on the show, and
Lar.
Okay, three people I really love to.
I was whispering, try not to give away.
Yeah.
Lar might be difficult to get on the show because he is so busy.
Yeah.
But he'd probably do it for you.
Yeah, we can. I'm sure we'll be able to find time.
Yeah.
Do a Skype or a phone in.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to get into some numbers?
Sure, let's get into the numbers.
All right. I'm gonna go through the. I've actually been doing the countdown over the last few weeks, kind of re-releasing episodes to talk about the top was the top 5 or top 6 most downloaded episodes of all time.
Right.
But I'm just for today's purposes, I'm just going to go over the top episodes of the year.
Okay.
So the number 10 episode, the 10th most downloaded episode of the year was the reunion of Meet the Geeks.
It's interesting, actually.
Yeah.
That was at Keycon.
Now that was the episode where this was the post Evil Within, where we're in your hotel room, where it was you, me, Clay, Todd was there, James was there, Thomas was not there. We called in Shane, Jamie was there. It was a reunion of not just Meet the Geeks, but it was
the old crew.
Of the old group, like you and Clay. That was what I saw it as.
Yeah.
And that episode was a lot of fun. I was really drunk.
So was I. I actually don't entirely remember some parts of it.
Yep, ditto. Yeah. But it was good, and actually it was good to see Clay healthy.
Yeah. Back.
He's doing stand-up now.
Yeah.
You guys actually saw a stand-up show. I showed up 5 minutes after he was done.
Yeah. It's too bad you missed the pretty good set.
Well, I did see the set because it was eventually posted online, so I did see it, but I really wanted to be there. And I showed it to people who are comedy aficionados, Tracy being one of them. And she saw the set and goes, "Oh, he's actually really good."
Yeah.
He's not just a guy doing stand-up. He is a stand-up comedian, and he is actually that good.
You can tell he's done it for a while, and he's very comfortable.
Yeah.
More comfortable than some of the other people that you see. You can tell that
it's natural.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, very natural. Yeah. So that was our 10th episode, and we hadn't really talked to Clay in
quite a while.
I mean, bits in here, but we never actually talked to him at length. So it was really good. Number 9 episode was It's New, Just in Time for Keycon, which was a precursor episode.
Okay.
The one where we, I think it was on the ride to Keycon. I think it was
the ride to Keycon? Yeah.
I believe. Let me just see here. I didn't save that one. I think that was on the ride to Keycon. We actually talked about Brent Fitz. We did this the year before. We actually drove to Keycon and we're turning down wrong streets, and that was actually part of the adventure of the podcast, was just getting to Keycon. Anyway, it's called It's New because it was season 5, episode 1.
Okay.
Number 8 was the Disraeli Dreamers CD review. So we played with Todd and I, and Dome played with Disraeli Dreamers. They were part of the Indie Week battle.
Right.
I became, I think, pretty good friends with a couple of guys in the band. And I really, really like them. I think they're the best. They're really good. They're really good musicians, but they're more identified by they write really fucking great songs, and they have a stage presence like no one else. Like they're really, I find, they're all about the songwriting and the stage presence. And while there's other bands in the city that may say, well, we have a better guitar player or a better drummer or a better this or a better that. Okay, musically speaking, maybe technically you have the better musicians, but you guys don't have a band. These guys are a band. They play like a band. They have a good vibe. I'll promote them till the cows come home. Mm-hmm. Like they're real, and they're great guys.
Right.
They're married men. They love their families. Mm-hmm. They put their kids and their families first. Mm-hmm. They're just good people. And then Ryan organized. It was a festival that we were potentially going to play at.
Right.
They organized a festival this summer. That they reunited a band for that festival. Famous Winnipeg band. They had a song called Vegas. Oh my God.
Dome? No, sorry, that was California.
Anyway, they my God, Todd, look it up. Famous Winnipeg band.
Street Art?
No, they were like, oh my
Harlequin?
God, I can't remember what they're called.
What era?
They're like 10 years ago. They're like during the time of they were really big in the city when we were doing Evil Within.
Top Winnipeg bands.
Bands
Wow.
Wow.
They actually had they played on the radio a lot.
Crash test dummies.
Keep going.
Perpetrators. Electro
Quarterstaff.
No. The Whalen Jennies.
They're good.
Novilero.
Valero, yeah.
Comeback Kid. Shikgamin.
See, they're listing all the indie bands. This band was not indie. They were
cities. Now this was a known. The Watchmen?
No. They were bigger than the Watchmen.
Jet Set Satellite.
Jet Set Satellite.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
98 was when they first come on the scene.
Yeah. So I have a kind of a 7 degrees of separation with them. They used to get the hair done at Hair Effects, all the guys in the band, because they were pretty. They were a pretty band. Anyway, they reunited. Ryan reunited them, and they played his festival, and it was good. So hey, kudos to Desiree Dreamers. Like they're good, just good people. So while you may be a better musician than someone in their band, you're not a better songwriter. These guys write great fucking songs. They opened for Moontan, and even though Moontan was really good, they made it seem like Moontan should open for them, in my opinion. They were that good. That was probably the most solid set I've ever seen for a local band. Period. And I've seen Harlequin and Streetheart and seen Burton Cummings perform a number of times. These guys just blew everyone away. That's my 2 cents, damn it.
There you go.
The number 7 episode was the first Versus episode, which had you and Tracy on it. Corey and Tracy on it. I did back-to-back phone calls with each of you, and then I ran them together as one episode. And people still download that episode, to this day. Like in this episode is from last year.
I'm famous.
But it was a good episode. It was really funny, and anything that Tracy touches is gold.
Okay.
She's I don't know.
It's Tracy.
The most downloaded episode of all time, I guess I can spoil it now, is her premiere episode on the SeanGeek Podcast. I have no idea why, but she was fucking funny, as she always is. Anyway.
She had her followers.
Yeah.
Tune in.
So that was number, 7, 8, 9, 10. So number 6 was Electronic Drums or Not. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see that actually being a divisive subject.
No, that was from last year too.
Wow.
That wasn't from 2018. That was from 2017. And people still download that episode.
It could be in the title.
And you're like, you actually wanted to do that episode again because you forgot we had done it.
Oh, did we?
That was a topic. You said, hey, we should talk about
Electronic
drums or not. I'm like, we did that already. Maybe we'll do a follow-up now that I've had my drum set for,
you got to give your positive, your review, 2 cents.
Number 5 was Keycon Greatest Hits. That was the episode. It was one of the lead-up episodes to Keycon this year, where we talked about our favorite Keycons, favorite moments, that sort of stuff. Right. That was a lot of fun. Number 4, another Keycon episode. We did a lot. Was the Decibel Geek and Keycon 2018 review. So we did a post-mortem on Keycon. And we also talked about the Decibel Geek podcast, which is down in Tennessee, that I listened to. And they actually had a whole episode based around Brent Fitz from Winnipeg. And they actually had him as the guest for the whole show, which is great. Brent Fitz played with Shake Naked, and Linnea Erickson, which is kind of the same band, and then now he plays with Slash. He also played for Gene Simmons. He's awesome. He's the guy we saw jump on stage during the Trooper show for
Came on, grabbed the guitar, started playing.
Yep.
Security beat him up, dragged him off.
But he has a band called Took. And it's him and Todd Kearns. I think Todd Kearns is in the band. And a couple other guys. And all they do is they do covers of 80s songs.
Okay.
Regardless of the style of song. They do Platinum Blonde. They do Chilliwack, I think. They do Kim Mitchell. They do everything. So they're really, really good. But I think we pulled in a lot of listeners from the Decibel Geek podcast. So thanks for the listeners of the Decibel Geek podcast. I love that show. This is the episode you said maybe we shouldn't put on the air, Corey. Number 3. Headlines with Meet the Geeks, Roseanne, and The Walking Dead.
Ah, yes.
The number 3 episode of the year was the one we thought was absolute shite.
Yep.
This was Roseanne.
It was Corey. It was one of Corey's rare appearances during the time when he didn't have a phone.
Yeah.
But we talked about the Roseanne, the whole Roseanne controversy.
Right.
And then we also talked about the Walking Dead controversy, which someone lost their job at a bank because they had a Walking Dead bobblehead. Yeah. We're not going to go into that. Go listen to the episode and you'll hear the whole thing on it. But there were 2 controversial headlines in and around the same time. And we just talked about it. And we felt like we had no chemistry in that episode. And we felt like we didn't know where we were going. And
there was definitely an idea there, and I remember that.
I think the idea was going to be good.
I had it in my head, but it never came out of my mouth.
Yeah, ditto. But people loved it anyway, so it just goes to show we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
exactly. Number 2 episode of the year was I think this is a solo one. I'm pretty sure it was a solo one where I did a review of Disraeli Dreamers CD release party they play with Deep Dark Cave and Moontan. So I reviewed the show. Ticket Momster, I think, also reviewed that show. I think she was at the show. I've never met her. I want to meet Ticket Momster and thank her for the awesome reporting she does. She anonymously goes to rock shows in the city and reviews them. Okay. But nobody knows who she is. She's trying to be anonymous. Oh. So I've always wanted to meet her, but I don't want to. I don't want to spoil the illusion. Yeah. I think what she does is great, and it's brave, and she goes to these shows by herself a lot of the time. But what I really like is the community, the music community, always, I'm assuming, protect her to make sure she's safe. Because, there's a couple of scumbags out there, but I really like the work she does.
Scumbags in Winnipeg? You don't say.
Yeah. But I'm a huge fan of Ticket Momster. She's great. I think she reviewed the show as well. I seem to think that she did, and we had a brief back and forth online a little bit. But that show was great. It was one of my favorite shows of all time. That was the best I've ever seen the Dreamers beat. Mm-hmm. And I got to see Moontan for the first time, which I highly recommend. They are a 2010s version of Rush. They actually can do Rush in their sleep. Yeah. The singer can hit all the notes.
Yeah, I've listened to them online. They're pretty wild.
I've got their albums downloaded, and they're really good. What do you think was the number 1 episode of the year? It's actually almost the number 1 episode of all time. Huh. It's one you and I did. I'll narrow it down.
Ooh. Okay. Were we talking
controversial topic.
Okay, so it wasn't Xbox versus PS4 versus platforming.
No, that's pretty controversial.
Controversial. Names that people don't like to be called because it's not politically correct. Names that no.
He's making up new episodes.
Yeah,
that's on next week's episode.
Well, no, because we were talking.
Todd discusses the word cracker.
Cracker. No, because we were talking about people being offended by names that they're that signify a certain demographic. I don't know what the proper word is because everybody's so sensitive now. You can't say anything. They're pulling people from 30 years ago that said something that, he said this 30 years ago. Oh, my God. Yeah, but 30 years ago versus now. Like, did you watch the comedy stuff online?
Oh, my God. Go watch Richard Pryor.
I mean, Eddie Murphy.
Or Eddie Murphy.
He's with who? Walt Disney? It's like
you did a Shrek movie?
It's like, don't... I mean, this is their past stuff. Just let it be. Anyways, that I take that's not.
No.
No.
No, actually, that didn't even make the top 10. So we did an episode talking about James Gunn, which I thought would have made the top 10 list because I was really I don't know. We were both passionate, but that's the guy that got fired from Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that didn't even make the top 10.
Oh, okay. Because I'll say that was a recent one.
Yeah, it was a recent one.
Very recent.
But I mean, I'm still getting downloads of that episode, and I think we did that partway through the year. No, the one that shot to the top was season 5, episode 17, which isn't that long ago.
Versus? Was it a versus?
Nope.
No, because you said it was controversial.
The Strange Case of Chris Hardwick.
Really?
That was the guy from The Nerdist who got accused from his ex-girlfriend that he did a lot of horrible things to her. And that was the episode where we talked about it. We actually talked... It was interesting because I think we talked about it from kind of offering both sides, which a lot of people are on one side or the other side, and no one is in the middle listening to both sides. And I think we did a pretty good job. But I think we talked about how the Me Too movement is the one side, and then the other side are the people that take advantage of the Me Too movement, which unfortunately there's extremes to both sides that, I mean, the Me Too movement's good, but there's the people that have taken the Me Too movement all the way to the other spectrum. And he was accused, Chris Hardwick was accused of doing horrible things to this lady, which he lost all his jobs. He actually, the company he founded, Nerdist, he sold to Legendary, and they removed his name off of everything. So, and then he went and actually proved that it was all not true. But he still didn't get all his jobs back.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's different, because anytime anything controversial comes up like that, I mean, you'll have something that happens, and you know, some will just take it to the extreme, and it's like they say, like it just takes one thing to ruin the soup type thing. You know, I mean, everyone's, you know, following the rules as they should. One person sees that they can take advantage of that situation.
Yep. And
runs with it. Now, not to say that they did, because that's where you run into the fine line where you can have someone who's 100% on this side or 100% on the other side, and you can't change their minds no matter what you do.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the middle, at least if you can kind of go to both sides and say, okay, well, this is their point of view, right or wrong, this is their point of view. Okay, it's just face value, no judgment. That's just the way it is. Same with the other side, face value of what their situation is, and then that's when you have to kind of make your own decision.
I guess what's interesting is, in this particular case, which made it different than a lot of the other cases out there, was that the ex-girlfriend accused him in an online blog of doing things to her, and then never followed through on it. So never sued him, never, you know, took him to court, never did anything. I just wanted to get it off my chest. But you can't defame someone or not perjury. What's the word? Slander. You can't slander somebody. There's slander and libel, but anyway, one of those things. You can't go ahead and publicly state something like that, implying criminal charges against someone, and not actually press the charges. Because if you're doing that, it's not going through a due process. So free speech is allowed, but free speech is not allowed if you are hurting someone. But nowadays that's okay. You know what I mean?
It seems to be. They want it both ways.
So it's frustrating because some people, people taking both sides of this, where the one side is like, all those people with the Me Too movement, they're too sensitive and they're too this and they're too that, which is not good, because the things the Me Too movement are complaining about are true things that are happening, and society is now changing, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
We're not letting those pricks, you know, in Hollywood and in the music industry get away with the things that they've gotten away with, and we're actually holding people accountable. which is about fucking time. But then there's always people that take advantage of something good and try to twist it into something horrible. And then there's the people like, ooh, here's an opportunity for me to make money.
Yeah.
Or raise my prestige. And I'm not saying this lady did that because I wasn't in the situation. I don't know what happened. But it does seem very much like she might have taken advantage of the situation because she has not been able to prove anything she said. But at the same time, how do you prove something like that? You can't. So
Well, it becomes
you'll never know if she's you'll never know if she's right or wrong.
In a lot of cases, well, I'm not going to say a lot of cases, but sometimes in cases like that, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. You have, one person's view and another person's view, and
each one may fudge the information a little bit to make their point across.
Or they may remember it differently.
Yeah, that's true.
Two people experiencing the same situation will see it based on their, perception, based on how they've, their experiences and, how they've been raised and, their political view, like everything will cause two people to look at the same situation completely differently. So, there may be some of that, and especially, when you're involved with something like that, you've got your point of view, they've got their point of view. And, your point of view, you might feel like you're completely right. Their point of view, they might think that you're completely wrong. And in reality, it just winds up being somewhere in the middle.
It's like two people going to a show or a concert or a movie or whatever. And then you say, like, what was your, what did you think of it? Or what do you think? You could have two different point of views. One will say, I hated it. One say, I was offended. The other one says, fuck, it was great. Like you said, it depends on how you're brought up and what your values are.
But just because you have an opinion doesn't mean it's the be-all, end-all. There is no single answer to, is something good, is something bad. Things are way more complex than that. Like all the hatred on Star Wars, like as an example, like just, I'm a fan, then I'm entitled to have my opinion, and everyone's entitled to listen to my opinion, and if they don't believe my opinion, I hate you and I want you to die. Like that's not freedom of speech. That's
internet troll.
Shut the fuck up. Seriously, you can have an opinion, but the minute you start threatening people, like
everyone I don't agree with is Hitler. A Child's Guide to Politics.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. So anyways, that we covered that in that episode a little bit. The kind of the both sides, how it is a guilty till proven innocent society we're in now, and it does make me nervous as an adult male. Mm-hmm. I'm very glad that I am married and not in the dating game
anymore.
Because if I was, I actually probably wouldn't date. I don't know what I would do. Too difficult.
We'll always have internet porn.
Maybe not. Could get taken away. They just took it off of what was it? Is it Imager or is it? The hell was it?
It was
one of the
Tumblr.
Tumblr, was it Tumblr?
Yeah, Tumblr.
Well, it's like I don't know if I have an opinion on that. Super dead quiet. Okay, anyway, further things. I actually chronicled my favorite episodes of the year. Okay. So they're not the same as this list. But I kind of wanted to get 2 cents from each of you.
Okay.
So I didn't put these in any kind of order because it was too difficult. But one of my favorite episodes was the first one of the year, which we talked about earlier, where Todd gives the big announcement.
Right.
Yeah. Talks about his new bass.
Right.
And also gave us, it was a back history on Todd. Some history on Todd getting his first guitar.
Yep.
He talks about our kitchen parties growing up. About our uncles, all those musicians, Todd's first band. Stuff like how he's boiling his guitar parts in wax. It was interesting because it was...
Yeah, those were the pickups, yeah.
It was episode 4, season 4, episode 23. It was the first episode of the year. I really liked it because actually, I think it was one of the first episodes where Todd really opened up about stuff.
Right.
And we get to meet Todd, like really meet Todd on air. And it was...
Yeah, I don't usually talk that much.
No, it was good. It was really good.
My normal,
So that was season 4, episode 23, first episode of the year. Season 5, episode 27 was the Disraeli Dreamers CD review, where I reviewed their CD previous to the show, not realizing that it wasn't their current CD, that they had another CD out. So then I had to do a second CD review to review their actual current CD. Wow. I really liked that CD, and I really liked the review. That was season 5, episode 27. Season 4, episode 35 was we actually had voices by Tracy on the show, my friend Tracy, and we actually did a talk about Black Panther in detail, in depth, and in terms of how influential the movie is and how important a movie like Black Panther is. And it was good to get a female perspective on Black Panther, because I felt that movie had really strong female characters. The episode of Versus, season 4, episode 37, we talked about that. Season 4, episode 40 was Finding That Lost Song. So I don't know if I told Corey this story, but one of my favorite songs of all time, I didn't know the band that did it. I didn't know the name of the song. I didn't know anything. But during my chance encounter with Matt, where he provided me with all the lost footage from Evil Within, I mentioned this to him because Matt made a short film. Did you see his short film?
I've never actually watched it, but yes, I was aware of it.
It's quite good. He actually talks about finding the lost song, a song that he really liked. It was his favorite song, and he went through a search to find it. And he explained the story of why it was important, making year-end mixtapes, and all that. And I was so inspired by it that I actually reached out to him and actually talked to him, which led to the whole Evil Within footage coming through. So it was important in that respect because it, kept the ball rolling on the Evil Within reunion. But he also found the song for me, which was the band is called 15.
Okay.
And the name of the album was Swain's First Bike Ride, and it was an album that was very important to me. But I never knew what the band was called because it was just a cassette, and the titles weren't on the cassette.
I recently had that experience. I don't know.
We talked about it after that. Yeah.
But I had the same one with is it XYZ?
Yes.
Inside Out.
Yeah, and then I told you what the song was.
Because we used to play it. Well, I used to play
jam
it with the Citrus.
Yeah.
I used to jam with them.
I always loved
Dear
God by them.
By XYZ?
Yeah.
Oh, you know who they are?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Not too many people know who they are.
Yeah. No, that one song, Dear God, was,
Well, we're going to have to listen to that.
Really well.
Yeah,
that was XYZ, wasn't it? Pretty sure it was.
I'm going to look it up. That song was actually written by the brothers from the Black Crowes.
Okay.
It was actually written by the Robinsons. Anyway, so that's, for me, that episode was important to me. Maybe it wasn't popular, but it was important because it was responsible for a lot of things. Season 5, episode 5, the reunion of Meet the Geeks. We talked about that already. Season 5, episode 8, return of voices by Tracy. Tracy took a sabbatical from the show for a while, and we brought her back, and it was fun. It was probably the funniest she's ever been on the show. She should be a stand-up comedian. Season 5, episode 12, rating the music streaming services. Todd and I actually did some math on how much money we don't make off Spotify, Google Music, Apple. All the streaming services are inherently evil, and all they've done is recreate the music industry in a new format that rips the artist off even further than it did before. So instead of the managers and the record labels keeping all the money and not paying the artists, now it's the companies like Spotify, Google Music, iTunes, and all the streaming services that are ripping off the artists now. So the only thing that's changed is that the artists are getting paid less than they were before, and the music labels aren't getting any money either. But Taylor Swift, who I'm not a big fan of, actually renegotiated her record deal, and part of the renegotiation was, you're going to have to pay some artists. We want more of the pot of the Spotify and whatever, and that money has to go to the artist. Yeah. There was 3 labels chasing her that wanted her, and she went with the label that I don't think had the biggest payout for her, but had the biggest payout for the artist on that label.
You know,
it's like, God damn it.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Because remember the band Wolfpack 44, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was talking to Britta Ravensbrook. I was chatting with him actually on Facebook Messenger, and asked him about digital downloads. I want to because I was thinking about buying, because I buy a lot of my music off of iTunes. And it's like, so if I buy it off iTunes, are you guys getting the money? It's like, you know what? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Because he said that he'd have to go back and, check with the guys that are handling that part. So, it's...
And the fact that people don't even know is scary. I think you should go back and listen to that episode, honestly. Because we actually got the stats on how payment works, which we looked into. And we actually did the math, and we used Ed Sheeran as an example to figure out how much people get paid. And we came up with that Ed Sheeran, who is, if not the most downloaded, the second most downloaded person on Spotify of all time.
Yeah.
And he got paid, was it $100,000? For billions of downloads. He got paid $100,000 for that.
Yeah.
For billions of downloads. Or streams or whatever. Sorry, billions of streams. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
If he is that big an artist, pay him a shit ton of money. Seriously, people like him are making people get accounts with Spotify or with Google Play or with iTunes.
Yeah.
Pay the guy fucking money. Like, he's doing the work, he's doing the touring, he's doing he's self-promoting himself more than the label's promoting him. So we use him as an example. If that guy's getting paid $100,000, what's a guy like me and Todd, or a band like Guar, or whatever? What are they getting paid? They're getting nothing, and it's criminal.
Does not even cover the cost of what was paid for.
Yeah, we can't even pay for our membership.
Just the membership.
Yeah,
it's like Costco. You have to, if you have the premier thing, you have to, buy X amount of money worth of groceries to be able to afford. To have the actual.
Anyway, we actually had the stats, and I think we posted the link with the episode too, with the breakdown.
Right.
And the biggest offenders, Tidal pays the best, and that's the one owned by, is it Jay-Z or whatever?
Okay.
Jay-Z, is it Beyonce's husband, Jay-Z? I don't know, rap. Anyway, that's the one that paid the most. I think that one pays like 1%.
Right.
But everything else pays
0.001
or whatever. Like, they pay...
ridiculous.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
1 cent on like every $10 or something like that.
Now that wasn't
1 cent for every 100 downloads or something. It's just
that wasn't one of the top episodes, but for me it was important because it actually switched me on streaming services, and I'm actually thinking of not paying anybody for a streaming service anymore, and I'm just gonna go buy my music the old way.
And I'm actually getting there myself, I have to admit.
Like, I want to go buy a CD so I can rip it and listen to it on my player. I don't want to digitally download something that I'm not going to own a copy of. I want to own a copy and make my own mixes and listen to the song anywhere that I want to, and not have to rely on Wi-Fi or rely on... iTunes used to take albums off all the time, where I'd pay for something and have to go buy it again.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Repo the Genetic Opera. That was one of my big ones. It was off for the longest time, and now it's back on, so I was able to download it again. But the other thing that really pisses me off about iTunes is they keep, even if you got the cloud shut off, they load it into the cloud, and it's not actually physically on your hard drive anymore.
Yes.
You go to listen to something.
That is my issue.
Yeah.
It's like, I bought the song. Where is it? Well, we're going to keep it on the cloud. No. I bought the song. I'm not leasing. I'm not renting. I bought the fucking song to listen to.
Yeah.
Where is my song?
You know what else?
You're not allowed to store anything anymore.
There was a article that I read a few years back about iTunes, and it was written by Audiophile, right? And he was talking about how when he signed up for iTunes, he had a bunch of music on his computer, stuff that he downloaded off the artist's page, different versions, demos, whatnot. Yeah. iTunes replaced all of those files with the common commercial version.
Oh, no way.
So all of a sudden, all this music that he had downloaded.
You might have a good live acoustic version or a live version. Oh.
They overwrote the files on his computer. And then when he called him and, tried to say, like, what the hell's going on there, well, it's all there in the terms and conditions, sir. If you pressed agree.
They get you by the short hairs.
Yeah, I'm never going back to iTunes. That's why I'm going to my LG phone. I get expanded memory on my phone, and I'm actually going back to my computer. I'm actually going to go buy a CD drive for my laptop because they don't come with CD drives anymore because they want us to keep things on the cloud. But I'm going to go buy fucking CD drive so I can go to Sunrise Records, buy the CD I want, or go through Bandcamp, because if you go through Bandcamp, you can actually download the MP3 to your computer.
Fuck MP3!
But I want to download the song, like and I want to play it wherever I want to play it. I don't want to be limited to being online. I want to pay the artist.
Yeah.
So I'm very pro Bandcamp because that has one of the highest percentage pays, because you're actually paying the artist for the song. And the artist is giving you a copy of the song. I'm okay with MP3s, but I'm not good with streaming because it's low quality. Even our Dome album sounds like shit on Google Play. Yeah. But if you listen to the CD, it's like, this isn't even the same thing.
You lose the quality.
But anyway, to me that was an important episode because we actually go through, provide hard, cold facts of what it is now. Sorry, I got all...
That's good. No, that's good.
Yeah. So that was season 5, episode 12. Please take a listen, Corey. Please take a listen. Yeah. And I would love to talk about this again on a future episode. In fact, I would like to have a band come in. Like, there's people that we want to have, and I would love to talk about this.
Yeah. What's your 2 cents on this?
Yeah, with some other musicians in the scene. So season 5, episode 15, The Trooper, Cheech and Chong, and Drake. I picked that one over the actual Cheech and Chong one. We did the true Cheech and Chong one because A, you did a Cheech and Chong imitation on the episode. B, your rant about MTS and their advertising that you are
paying for at work for parking.
Okay, well now you gotta tell Corey what this is.
What the hell?
Well, at the hospital you gotta pay for parking, right?
Right.
And I mean, it's bad enough. I mean, you've got patients that go there, and they're going for, either going for dialysis or whatever. I mean, and they're going for treatments, and they have to pay, and they usually have to go every day or every separate day. And and the way that they're raping people with parking, it's just horrendous. So myself, I pay, I think it's over $100 now, $110 a month, to park in the parkade. Yeah. So I'm paying that. I'm paying them, right? So when you're driving up to the gate...
You're not getting subsidized. You're actually paying...
I'm paying. There's no subsidy at all. You drive up to the gate. On the gate, they've got MTS friggin' advertisement thing all over the arm that comes up and down. So why... So am I going to be getting a discount of any type? Or am I going to be inundated with advertisements that I didn't ask for? It's the same as when you go to a movie theater. You're paying for the movie already. Don't show advertisements for 3/4 of an hour before the movie starts.
Or are they going to offer? Are they going to offer a second pay scale to your parking?
Yeah.
To not see the
advertising or no advertising. Like you're going to pay up front.
And the same thing with a movie. Like I know that movie theaters don't make money.
Yeah. That's
the long and short of it. But if I'm paying $25 to go see a movie, which it is, right?
Yeah, it's not.
I'm paying to see the movie. I'm not paying for the ads. I can get the ads for free online. Thank you very much.
It's not cheapy theaters anymore.
I'm not watching this on YouTube. I'm actually I paid to see this movie, but you still have to how is that legal? It doesn't make sense. But then you can't bring your own food and drink in there either.
Yeah.
Now I realize they don't make a lot of money, but it's like okay, all of a sudden they've come with this great idea for added revenue streams. Which is great for them, but you didn't ask your paying customers. They didn't have any say into this, and they're the ones that pay your bills. But now it's like, well, we can get paid by Shaw Canada to put an ad in front of the movie. We can. It's like, yeah, but
I don't want to have to listen to those effing Shaw bots when I go to see a movie.
But it's like, why is that okay?
Yeah.
It's like you're subsidizing your expenses because you can't afford to run the theater, or you're too greedy, one or the other. It's the same thing as your hospital. Mm-hmm. You're making tons of money off of the parking, and now you're saying, we need to make a little bit more.
Hospital is non-profit. It's not a profit.
This is actually a whole other podcast because we recently had a loss in the fandom community of somebody who was protesting that.
Oh. Yeah,
he was featured on the news when he vandalized one of the parking meters at a hospital. He was going in for, cancer treatments. Mm-hmm. And he was protesting, the fact that you have to pay for parking at hospitals. Patients that are coming in for needed treatments still have to pay to go park at the hospital.
Through the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not just paying, they're paying through the nose, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's no different than the streets now. There's no free parking, really. I mean, as soon as you get on the street, it's like a taxi cab. As soon as you get in, I mean, years ago it used to be $2. Now I have no idea what it is. Probably like 5 or 10 or 20, who knows?
Yeah.
But it's for a cab. But it's the same now when you park on the street. As soon as you park, it's like, right off the bat, like $5 or I don't know.
So it's actually cheaper to park somewhere that has free parking and take a cab.
Well, there was this old adage joke. I don't know if it was Toronto, where it was, but some guy parked somewhere, had it towed, flew out to wherever, came back, and went to the depot to get his car back and pay the towing fee and the storage, which was cheaper than freaking parking.
Yeah.
So it's like,
really? Nice.
I don't know if it was true or not, but it gets to that point. It's like, it's cheaper for me to have my friggin' vehicle towed, stored in the compound. I'll come by in a week, pay the rental fee, which is a hell of a lot cheaper than having to go to the parkade. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. I digress.
I'd actually like to talk about this again. So.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it again. And we talked about the whole Drake thing, so I think we'll revisit the whole Drake gets the #1 album because he greased some palms at Spotify.
Yeah.
And then my other favorite episode was season 6, episode 3, Kiss vs. Kiss, featuring Danny Roy.
That was a fun one. That was also fun. Our first,
first in studio.
Yeah.
So that's why I have A, we had Danny on, that was great. B, we had you on, that was even better. Mm-hmm. And C, we had Todd's studio, which we didn't know he had built.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, that was cool. We're in the studio right now, man.
Yeah. Well, this is a different room of the studio. Because the original...
This doesn't have the nice comfy couch.
No, this one doesn't have the couch or the cat, so...
Yeah.
It's...
It doesn't have the cat, which is kind of good for me, I guess. I'm allergic, even though I love fucking cats.
So am I. That's why I stay away from them.
But that to me, that was an important episode because it was a milestone in the show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, real quick. We gotta go. I think we're done. But, what the hell? Oh, yeah. What was
How did the Threaten episode not...
I don't know! Didn't even make the top 10.
The which one?
Threaten.
Jared Threaten.
I almost put that in my favorite because it's still ongoing. We're gonna have a follow episode.
Yeah, we're gonna
make the numbers happen. But real quick, the top country downloads for this year. Canada was #1. No big surprise. Whoa. Okay, I didn't actually look at these numbers. #2 was the United States. With 19%, 19.8% of the vote of the listenership, of the downloads. Wow. The United States made a huge surge in December, which brought their number up and kicked Sweden's butt.
Well, the Swedes were kicking.
The Swedes were #2.
Yeah. We're gaining ground, so they had to.
So the Swedes at 11.8%. Canada had 59% of the listens, but the Swedes were in third, and they were an ongoing joke / story.
Yep.
I think the joke was that we don't know anything about Sweden. But the United
still haven't anybody contact you from Sweden, have you?
No, I'm still waiting for someone. I will have you on the show. I will get up in the middle of the night and take the phone call. United Kingdom came in fourth with 7.5% of the listenership. And then it was Australia with kind of dwindling numbers there. Australia, Korea, Austria, Ireland, Israel, and other.
Wow.
Other is probably Transcona.
Could be Transcona.
Well, they're still trying to work the interweb over there.
Yeah.
Hi, neighbors watching you.
Anyway, so it was kind of interesting. We had a great year. We had some great episodes. I launched SeanMcGinnity.ca this year, actually.
Yeah,
that
where?
was the other thing.
What is it?
SeanMcGinnity.ca.
Oh, okay.
Was that SeanMcGinnity.ca?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh.
And then there's going to be a CoreyTaves.ca?
Maybe someday, but there may be a MeetTheGeeks.ca in the near future.
That's even better. Yeah. Anyway, lots of stuff going on. Like, share, comment.
Visit our Patreon and give us money.
Yep. What's the Patreon page? The Real Meet the Geeks.
The Real Meet the Geeks, yes.
What is the Twitter handle?
I don't know.
MTG Comic.
I run all these things. I have no idea what they're actually.
Also, Boat of the Damned is you as well on Twitter.
Yep. Don't ever update that one, so don't bother looking at it.
Yeah. Todd doesn't have a Twitter handle yet. We're gonna get there.
Yeah. FastFretFingers.
It's probably now taken up since we just.
Oh yeah. Somebody's squatting there now.
Yeah.
It's all.
And then Todd's gonna have to pay like $200,000 to get the name back.
Kitty porn. Pictures of cats.
Todd's gonna have some announcements this year, though. I have a feeling. Something.
Yeah, will you read my mind or what? Yeah. I'm not saying anything yet because I don't want to commit to anything yet.
Yeah. No, we're not gonna give it. Just keep your eyes and ears open.
Yeah, just keeping.
We are going to hear something from Bros Before Jen, right?
Well, I think we can actually commit to something this year.
Yeah.
I will have my Sweden novel out this year. Is my commitment I've made. I'm not gonna say when. 60,000 pages into the 70,000 pages for editing. So I have another 10,000. Sorry,
70,000 pages?
No, words. Sorry.
Okay.
I get 10,000
What
words
did
left.
you write? The encyclopedia?
Yes.
Yeah. 18,000 times.
For me, it's SeanGeek. Everywhere? No. SeanGeek, if you want to find the podcast that you're listening to right now, is SeanGeek. SeanGeek on Twitter. Instagram, you can find Sean McGinnity. I'm also SeanGeek over there, I think. The YouTube channel is under Sean McGinnity. Just SeanMcGinnity.ca. You can find everything there.
In the new year, we'll start amalgamating.
All the links will be at the bottom.
Things out.
Yeah. I think that's what we need to do, some amalgamation.
Yeah.
I think your new website should be called amalgamation.ca.
Amalgamation.ca, yes. It's probably already taken too.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we're going to sign off here. Your catchphrase is...
Do I have a catchphrase?
That's it. Your catchphrase is...
See ya.
And I don't have my bacon t-shirt.
I got mine on.
Yeah, he's got his bacon t-shirt on.
He actually has it on.
Bacon in the summer.
And then I will see you on the flip side.
Alrighty.
Kid video.